Odisha, a land of exotic natural beauty and splendor, with green forests and colorful wildlife. Wildlife which is as varied as its forest. These species are from Bhitarkanika, the wildlife sanctuary in Odisha. To reach Bhitarkanika, first, a motor drive to Chandbali, some 200 kilometers north of the state capital Bhubaneswar. The wildlife sanctuary is situated in the Brahmani-Baitarani Delta area. This picturesque location, with its mangrove forests crisscrossed by rivers and numerous creeks, provides an exciting experience for all wildlife lovers. A 1.5-hour boat ride from Chandbali takes one to the confluence of the rivers Brahmani and Baitarani at Nalitpatya Durgapur, and then an hour's motor launch ride takes one to Dhamra, the gateway to Bhitarkanika Sanctuary. Dr. Chandrasekhar Kaur, the research officer at Bhitarkanika.
Bhitarkanika has vast mangrove forest areas, which in its extent is only second to the Sunderbans of West Bengal.
The flora and fauna and biotic diversity of Bhitarkanika are unique in comparison with other such mangrove forests in India. Mangrove forests are found along the sea coast on muddy soil which is permanently wet with salt water and submerged during every tide. Bhitarkanika Sanctuary, with an area of 672 square kilometers, was created in 1975. Vegetation here is especially adapted to survive in salty mud, with their still fruits or breathing roots. The mangroves provide shelter and nourishing ground for all living aquatic creatures here. Their fruit have great medicinal value. The unique environment and ecological parameters of this region in a deltaic setting is an ideal habitat for migrating birds and estuarine crocodiles which live in salt water. Availability of nesting facilities and ample food supplies attract many kinds of birds to Bhitarkanika. Pythons and king cobras are found in large numbers. Varieties of crabs in many sizes and colors. Micro and myofauna are found in abundance. Spotted deer can be observed in these dense mangrove forests.
The climate in Bhitarkanika is tropical and humid. Life here depends on time and tide.
One can enter Bhitarkanika during high tide, since it is negotiable only by waterways. Observation posts in the forest provide a panoramic view of the vast mangrove forests with their unique flora and fauna. During low tide, which occurs once in 6 hours, the creatures living in the rivers and creeks can be seen on the shore. Prominent amongst them, the estuarine crocodile, a pleasure to watch, but not to reach. Some of them are more than 20 feet long. Large breeding-size estuarine crocodiles in real wilderness are found only at Bhitarkanika.
Here in Bhitarkanika, we have a Salt Water Crocodile Research and Conservation Center at Dhamra, where we are rearing the estuarine crocodiles in captivity. Saltwater crocodiles, during their infancy, they prefer to remain in groups, but when they become adult, they remain highly territorial.
White crocodiles are also found here, though their number is very small. To enjoy Bhitarkanika fully, one must have a motor launch at one's disposal.
Hitherto, Bhitarkanika was unknown to the outside world. But now, as a wildlife sanctuary and a proposed national park, it attracts tourists from far and wide. Yet, we are cautious that the ecology of the area is not disturbed by promoting wildlife tourism.
From Dhamra, another 2.5-hour ride by motor launch to reach the shores of Gahirmatha. Gahirmatha beach has a 35-kilometer-long coastline, which is considered to be the largest rookery for olive ridley sea turtles in the world. Dr. Priyambada Mohanty Hejmadi, who has done considerable research on olive ridley sea turtles, says,
Gahirmatha area in Bhitarkanika sanctuary is the largest nesting place for olive ridley sea turtles. Every year, during January to March, thousands of sea turtles flock to the beach to lay eggs during night time. They dig a flask-shaped nest and lay from 40 to 200 eggs each and cover up the nest and leave for the sea. Because these animals are endangered, we are incubating some of the eggs and hatching them in the laboratory. The eggs hatch out in around 60 days, and these hatchlings or baby turtles come up to the surface and migrate to the sea. Once the baby turtles enter the sea, they never come back until 10 to 15 years, when they mature and come back to nest and lay eggs. The place of hatching is always imprinted on the baby turtles, and therefore they always come back to the place for mating and nesting in the same place of their hatching. This may be the reason for their large-scale migration to Bhitarkanika area. It is important to know that we have discovered that the sex of this animal can be manipulated by incubation temperature. Cold temperature leads to the development of males, and high temperature leads to the development of females only. We conduct research to get valuable information on growth, behavior and biology of the olive ridley sea turtles.
In the complex web of Bhitarkanika's fragile ecosystem, man's interference has already started and is steadily on the increase. The Gahirmatha Marine Turtle Research and Conservation Centre was established by the government of Odisha in 1976. Here, research work is carried on round the year. Casuarina plantations and mangrove forests exist side by side on the beach, providing ample food and shelter for miniature organisms, which in turn become food for the turtles. The Chief Conservator of Forests Wildlife Odisha, Mr. C.S. Dani.
Mangrove forest of Bhitarkanika is a unique ecosystem of this country. Bhitarkanika Sanctuary is going to be shortly declared as a national park. All efforts are being taken for preservation and maintenance of this fragile ecosystem is flora and fauna.
A day's excursion from dawn to dusk, from Chandbali to Gahirmatha via Dangmal, is a memorable experience that no nature lover would care to miss.